Hey everybody, so I wanted to give an update on the vehicle. First and foremost, the vehicle is working and the check engine light has finally went off. When I drive, I don't feel like anything is funny. I don't feel like anything is wrong. So online, I saw some individuals recommend checking the tire pressures, making sure that everything is to like factory setting in terms of how much the tire pressure is, or basically what the sticker says in the driver door, which is something that I did get up and do yesterday. Then there was something about resetting the TPWS um, on the dashboard. So I clicked that twice. I did that about 2 times. I could probably show you all what I mean. So keep in mind, this is a 2021 Toyota Corolla. I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but someone in the comment section, and listen, I'm doing stuff people say do online, been and jacked up the car. But basically, can you see that? Okay. I hope you can see it. It's hard for me to tell. But like in the settings, okay, I go to vehicle settings. This is what someone online said to do in terms of this check engine light popping up after I got bigger tires in the front of my vehicle than was recommended on the sticker on so they told me to go to vehicle settings. Right there, there's a setting TPWS. Someone recommended resetting that, which is exactly what I did do. I don't know if that helped. What I do know also is that the vehicle was driven overnight. So when my partner got back with the vehicle from work, he he didn't tell me. First of all, he didn't even tell me. I had to come outside because I was taking my daughters to school, and when I got in, I noticed that the check engine light had turned off. So again, I don't know if it's because I had to reset the TPWS setting in the vehicle on the dashboard, or is it just because the vehicle had to be driven around for a while in order for the computer in the vehicle to catch up with the fact that yes, I have tires on here that are bigger than the ones that are recommended for this vehicle, as well as bigger than the ones I originally had on here. But whatever it was, my check engine light did go off, and I am grateful. So there's no lights coming up on the dashboard as of today, and the check engine light has went off. So that is that for now. If anything changes, I would definitely give an update. But in case anyone else ever runs into that situation, that is some information in regards to ways to troubleshoot the situation. With that being said, I'm sitting here waiting for my partner who's getting the eye exam right now. And I feel like my off days, I always spend either with him or with my children. Like it's really, rarely ever a day I spend to myself. And of course, like many people, I get 2 days off, and some people don't get 2 days off. But thankfully, I do at least get a weekend. But work has been hell. Listen, I wasn't looking to celebrate Thanksgiving. You know, my sister calls it the holidays, whereas you all may call it the holiday. My sister calls it the holiday, and we all know this past Thursday we had the holiday Thanksgiving, which many people choose to spend with their family, and I can't blame people because for a lot of us who work 9 to 5 jobs, and I'm using 9 to 5 loosely because 9 to 5 ain't really 9 to 5. Some of us work third shift. Some of us work extremely second shift. Some of us work damn near 12 hours a day anyway, from 9 to 9. So I'm using 9 to 5 loosely. But my point is, for some of us, days like Thanksgiving, because it is a federal holiday and it's recognized as a federal holiday, many of us work jobs where we get that day off just naturally. We'll have that day off. So with that being said, we come together with our family because chances are many of them are able to take that same day off as well. So it gives everyone a chance to reconnect. So I completely understand the point of celebrating that day or any holiday, just to gather with family, which we say you could do it any day, and that's true. You can gather with family any day, but if you work, chances are you may have a job where, or many people in your family may have a job where they have these holidays off, and that just so happened to be the day that you're able to fortunately gather with your family. But then there are those of us like myself, okay? We got to work. Some work these holidays voluntarily. Some work them involuntarily. I was one of the individuals who had to work last Thursday involuntarily. I tried to get it off. I sit too low at the on the seniority list of my company, so or the company that I am employed with. So I wasn't getting that day off. And I did work, and it was hell. Now, mind you all, I am in the transportation industry. I drive around individuals who have disabilities as classified through the American Disability Act. Okay, the job is needed. It is needed because if these individuals did not have us, I'm not sure how they would get around. However, I don't know. Maybe I was just ignorant because I really thought that this past Thursday it would just be slow. I just really was hoping that it would be a slow day and that perhaps the only individuals that would need us were people that are wheelchair bound because of the fact that maybe their families don't have the means to get them around where they have to go. And that would make sense to me. But my goodness, that day I would have to say I think I had a total of two wheelchair bound people, and one I was extremely late to, and so to get into that, up here in Northeast Ohio, we had a huge snowstorm this past Thursday. Not good when you work in transportation and you got to be out on the road. Oh my goodness. When I tell you we have a time frame that we have to stick to, our clients have appointments. Our goal is to get to them and on time, and then take them where they got to go and move on to the next person on time. Thursday did not allow for that. In fact, Thursday, every driver that worked for the company that I work for doing this, we all were 2 hours behind. And we have like a radio where we can talk to dispatch, but we can also hear each other on this radio when we call into our dispatch. And so many people were upset and wanted to get off on time, but the weather would not permit. This is my first time really having to drive out in severe weather. I'm talking icy road conditions, white out on the freeway. I've never had to experience that up until this position. And mind you, I've drove transit buses. I drove the transit buses last year. Didn't really have this issue. I don't think I ever had to work a day where I was like really in wintry weather. So with this position, I'm taking back streets, I'm taking side streets, I'm taking main streets, and I'm taking freeways galore. And I have to tell you, Thursday night was hell. I honestly have never seen it so bad. Only because, again, I've never really had to drive in it. It got to the point where our company issued I guess you could say, a demand, pretty much to all the drivers that we were to stay off all freeways. So basically, we have two sides of the town. We have the east side, far east side, then we got the west side, far west side. Unfortunately for us, we go back and forth. We go throughout the entire county where we live, or where we work. So with that being said, when they issued this ban of getting on the freeway for us, because basically the freeway was nothing but a sheet of ice. It was nothing but a sheet of ice because it was the holiday, or the holiday as you all would call it, and city workers weren't out there plowing and putting salt down in the numbers that they would normally be when it's a weekday, when it's a regular day of the week. So they banned us from using the freeway, our company, and therefore it was taking us a good 40 minutes to an hour, over an hour, just to pick up one person or drop off one person. It was hell. We were hours behind. You would hear people getting on the radio as far as employees go, drivers go, and they were basically begging dispatch to do something to let them off on time because they knew they were looking at not getting off on time, staying late. And because of the type of work that we do, and I don't know exactly how to put it, but like the rules and regulations of the position, it's like you couldn't just go home. Like, so for example, I was to work 10:30 to 6:30, but under our contract, we know what we signed up for. And if dispatch is like, oh, you still have more runs on your schedule, you got to fulfill these runs, or you're going to have to come in and talk to the manager. It's like I can't get off on time. And that's exactly what happened to me. So my 10:30 to 6:30 shift Thursday turned into a 10:30 to 10 o'clock shift. So that was about, I mean, not 10:30 to 10 o'clock. It was 10:30 to, I believe it was 11. So it turned into like 11 hours and a half or something like that when I was finally said and done. I think I got that right. But either way, I definitely did not get off at 6:30. And unfortunately for many others, I even heard a woman call in saying that her GPS predicted it was going to take her an hour and 40 minutes or something to get from where she was to the far west side, to pick up a particular client. And she asked them, could they call the client to see if the client would even be there anymore, because this was obviously way outside the scheduled trip that the client had. They couldn't reach the client. So whenever they can't reach a client by phone, it's like you still got to go, because it's almost like a welfare check too. You got to fulfill that schedule, that scheduled ride. And on top of it, if they can't reach the person, you still got to go so you can see if that person wants to take the ride late or not. And it did happen to me as well. It's just that when it happened to me, the client wasn't that far. But I definitely had trips that were taking me 30 to 40 minutes to fulfill. And it was hell. It was hell. I tried to get on the freeway, despite the fact that they said at one point to try to avoid. This isn't when they banned the freeway. This is when they told us to avoid the freeway. I tried to get on the freeway. I stayed on that sucker for a good few exits. I said, hell no, to the no, no, no. I got up off that freeway with the quickness. When I tell you, cars in front of me were spinning out. But the company has some great vehicles, because these little mini buses that we drive, you probably all have them in your area, depending on where you live. Especially if you live like in a major city, you'll see your city provides, or a company or something in your area may provide like small, they call them paratransit buses, where again, individuals with disability would ride. And we have like a wheelchair lift that comes out and stuff. So these are big, sturdy, small buses. Basically, I say big, but they're like SUV buses or whatever. They're pretty sturdy, on ice, but even they slip. And but me sliding wasn't the problem, because I really wasn't sliding. The bus really was a good bus with some really great tires. It was more so everybody around me and trying not to get hit by others. It was a nightmare, and it got dark. So it was a complete nightmare out there, watching people get stuck, watching accidents, or seeing people that clearly have been in an accident pulled over, if they could even get over, watching people try to get up a street that was like a hill, that had a serious incline, and it was full of it was nothing but a sheet of ice on it. Lights were out, because I guess the wind or the weather was just that bad that it made street lights, traffic lights, just go off or whatever. It was a terrible, terrible night that night. It was terrible. So I said after that, and because I couldn't get off at 6:30, and I didn't get off until 10, and your girl had to catch the bus home too. And not to say that, other folks ain't out here catching the bus, but keep in mind, I have a car. And the problem was, my car didn't have the damn tires needed for that type of weather. And even people with tires, even these folks with SUVs, were out there getting stuck, sliding everywhere. It was bad. I told my partner, I said, no, stay home. I will catch the bus. First of all, because of the company I work for, I don't pay anyway to catch the bus. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just catch the bus, and you know, I'll just be okay, because I can catch the bus and go about my business. It doesn't. I only have to catch like two buses. So after getting off from such a long day, having to catch the bus to even get home, I would have had to turn around and be back at work by 8 o'clock, 8 a.m., and work another 10-hour shift. So instead, for the first time in a long time with this company, of being hired now since March, I just said, you know what, I'm calling off. And I did call in the next day sick. And with us, our we one occurrence of calling off, we could take up to 3 days off, and it still counts as one occurrence. I did not want to do that, because money wise, I just can't. So I took 2 days off, Friday and Saturday, rested, did things for myself those days. And then it rolled over to my actual off days, which is Monday, which is Sunday and today. And today is like my last off day. Then tomorrow I go back in for another 10, 8 to 6:30. So, or excuse me, 8 to 6. So I go back in tomorrow. So what I have to say is, if it feels good. I feel well rested. I feel more at peace. But Thursday night really had me thinking about what I want to do career wise, what I need to do career wise, to make sure that at the least I am doing something that I like to do. Because Thursday was a challenge. I don't want to say I felt like in a moment that I wanted to pull that bus over and walk away. But I definitely was thinking to myself, I am really out here risking my life, and for what? Like, for what? What am I doing this for? And I get it, it is a service that is needed, but I promise you, I'm not trying to be funny and I'm not trying to be judgmental. I really feel like some of those people could have got rides from family. They were not in wheelchairs and only had one wheelchair that day. And he was the only person I believe should have been on that bus that day, because he was coming from being with his son. That's what I remember was said. And I can understand that. I can understand that. He was worth the risk to just give this man a chance to be with his family. And given the kind of wheelchair he had, I can understand. No, his family probably don't have anything equipped to drive him around, and get him there and back safely. Be just given the type of wheelchair he was in. That is the reason why I do this job. But there's some folk, and y'all, this company is about money anyway. There's some folks, and again, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but yeah, I do look and go, you could have called a Lyft, you could have called an Uber, you could have called a bus. But because this company has become lenient on the individuals it allows to schedule rides and services, it's like we're always swamped. We it's like you can never get off work. It's like dispatch want to keep you there held hostage because they're short on staff. People are fed up, tired. You getting folks with attitudes. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. If you really need this service, how you gonna have an attitude? How you gonna be all nasty and condescending if you really need this service? And don't get me started on the folks that act that way because they know you at work and they figure, oh, you need your job, especially now more than ever in this economy. You ain't gonna say nothing. Oh, you better tend to my needs because you need this job. Like, y'all, it's been something. And I know I'm not the only one that be going through this stuff. If you work in any type of customer service role, you too probably know what I mean in terms of these type of attitudes. But yeah, it was, Thursday was a challenge, and I just had to take off some time for myself. And it has been, work has been impacting my content creation because I feel like I can't do both. I'm trying to keep my family together, raise my children, help them with their schoolwork, keep my sanity, go to work full time. And then I feel like my creativity is like phew. But at the same time, again, these 4 days off have really helped me to sit back and think about the direction I want to go with my content on here. And honestly, I still ain't figured out that direction. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I ain't the one to sit up here and pretend like I got it all mapped out. I don't. I really don't. I just be popping up here whenever y'all accept me. I just pop up on the screen. That's all I got. That's all I got. And I figured that's what I could do. Like, be organic, be honest, get on here and tell y'all the truth about what is happening and share with y'all, certain things. I ain't got to share everything, just like y'all ain't got to share everything. But I get on here and I'll share what I can and hopefully keep everybody inspired because I don't got it all together. I don't got it all together at all. I don't even like my job. I don't even like where I live right now. I got to tell y'all more about that, but I'm thankful for both. I'm thankful because I have income coming in. I have a chance to change my life with that income for the better and not just rely on the job because that can be snatched off and under me in a second. But also too, I got a roof over my head, and while I don't like my living situation, I've talked about it before in the videos, because of how high the rent is, how much money I'm paying on the water bill, things that weren't disclosed to me in the lease, I'm now footing the bill for. Then my I want to say the issue that I have with my neighbor downstairs, although I don't want to claim it to be my issue, let alone her issue. I just want to, I just want to get out the situation. Okay, I don't like confrontation. That's the thing. I just want out the situation, and I can get myself out. And that is my journey. That's currently where I'm at right now. So these are things, and it's the end of the year. So these are things moving forward that I'm really analyzing and thinking about and mapping out and researching and trying to figure out what's my next move. And moving isn't exactly easy because my daughter likes her school. If we move, chances are we're not going to be in the same city. The city we live in is expensive. Their rent is ridiculous. You might as well own a home and have a mortgage where we live. We just so happen to be fortunate to find a place that is not too bad, but at least it didn't seem bad until they started adding on extra charges after the application process. And that's a whole nother story in itself. I'll probably talk more about that later as I continue that journey. But with that being said, I really hope that y'all are okay. I hope y'all enjoyed y'all Thursday, however y'all chose to expend it. Like I said, some of us was out there, trying to get money, getting our money, and then taking advantage of that time and a half. And some of us did it involuntarily, but I can't. I'm happy for those who did get to spend it with family, and a lot of people that I drove on Thursday, they were really happy that they got to spend it with family. Family was coming out thanking me for getting their family member there. A part of me was like, you could have picked them up, right? But I get it. Whatever. I gotta stop being judgmental. Anyway, I hope you all are doing well, and I will talk to you.